Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Omar. It is Saturday, January 27th, 11:18 a.m. in the morning, 2018, and I'm gonna make a quick video building my watch list for Monday. I was out partying last night, so I'm tired, and I'm flying out today, and I'll be partying again tonight, so I'll be tired pretty much all weekend. This was my watch list. For yesterday, and there was some good opportunities for you guys. POTN was probably like the best of all the opportunities, I think, where you could have maximized gains. Some of these stocks did really well. Presenting opportunities long and short. I think somebody messaged me. They took a play on TAL based on what on my watch list, and they banked, so that makes me happy. We're gonna build our watch list for Monday. PLT, and I'll just use that for an example. So basically what I did, if you saw my previous video, this was the high day, right? And what I like to do is it's very simple. This is what all the big traders do. Anybody who has any experience trading, this is pretty simple. This is what they do. So I would have set my alert there. That's why I set up at that 77 level, right? And it was like it was actually, the high was 76.7. So or 77.7 actually was the high. So let me just well, you get the point. So let's say, all right, so so that was the alert that I had for yesterday. And if you notice, what I always instruct everybody is that the market opened and it broke out. Now, generally I don't advise people to buy the breakout, because what if it breaks out and then it just tanks, right? Which is always a possibility. What I always tell them to do is let the breakout happen and let it retrace as close to the breakout level as possible, and then buy. So the real good opportunity, where you should have really bought if you were careful, was when it retraced back here, and you see how it formed a higher low here. So let me do this. So the real clear buy entry would have been here. So it gaps up, pulls back, it retraces, forms a higher low, and then it's off to the races. And then here, this is where you buy. And what you should do is, you can use the 9 EMA, the 13 EMA. A lot of people use different EMAs to ride the EMAs, but I like to use like the trend line. So I just, as long as it's in a trend, I'm good. And and once it breaks the trend, but it's still above VWAP, that it's gonna give back. This, to me, this is where this is where smart buyers buy. And you see, that's why they got the volume there. They saw that it was forming a support level here, and then they take the chance, risking that 77 cents. So you got a nice risk reward there. I don't know what the stock is gonna do Monday. It retraced back to the previous day's close price, and then it's kind of an upward trend. This is uncharted territory for this stock. This stock has been gapping crazy. I expect a huge crash at some point. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but this will be on my watch list for Monday again. So let me do create watch list. Let's do 128, 129, 129, 17. Save, and we're gonna put POTN. And for me, the clear breakout, the clear buy for me would be above that 95 cent high day. So I would put an alert right here. Let me just cancel that out for now. And for me, the clear buy, and I'm focusing more on buying than shorting, because not everybody has the ability to short these stocks. You need a particular broker you need like a Centerpoint or Interactive Brokers. It makes it a little easier to find shares to short of these stocks. They're not always the easiest to find. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just create an alert and just say 95.7. So I'm gonna say either buy breakout if holds 95.7, or short rejection. So meaning, if Monday, if this happens to get back to that level, right? So let's say, right, Monday opens, stock gaps up, and it gets back to 95 cents, and it just can't break it, then that's a great short, risking off that high at that point. But if it breaks it, so you don't buy, remember, don't buy the breakout. You want to see it go up, pull back, and then hold it's that support level, and then trade, go long based on that support level. All right, that's to me, that's the way to do it. Okay, you don't want to be chasing breakouts. You know, sometimes they'll go your way, but that is not a plan for success. All right. So what I usually do is when I run my scan. Now this is me. You can, you know, your criteria could be whatever you want. I look for stocks between 20 cents and $40. I might actually start changing this and doing like 10 cents, even 5 cents. They got a lot of these shitty 5-cent stocks that are like running wild. You know, the sympathy plays. I may start looking at even cheaper price stocks, but you know, sometimes I'll you know, increase my range. With the volume of at least 300,000 shares, up 3% on the day. And then I hit scan, and you get 195 stocks, which is crazy. I'm not going to go through 195 stocks now. But, you know, but I'll add a couple. And what I usually do is, like, I like, it, you know, sometimes I'll filter by what was the most volume traded, and then, you know, work my way down there, or the highest percentage. It just really depends on, you know, what opportunities present themselves. But I'll start with the highest volume. Twitter ripped, probably on some news, I don't know. It's holding 24.84. If you look at the yearly chart, its clear resistance is that 25.85 mark. I would, because it's close to there, definitely want to put an alert, create an alert at that 25.85 to see what it's going to do, because it may reject it and then you can short it. Or if it breaks and holds, then you long it. So potential long or short at 25.85. All right, so we'll keep that there. But what I want to see Monday is, what I would be looking at is, you know, I'll put another alert. It's at 24.84, so you definitely want to see if it's going to, you know, at or above 24.84. Buy breakout if holds 24.84. This is more than likely going to happen, is that pre-market, it's either going to break above it or it's going to just start tanking. You know, people will start trading pre-market. Now, you know, I get a lot of questions about pre-market too. You know, pre-market, the only way I'm trading pre-market is if the stock has a tremendous amount of volume pre-market. And if, you know, it depends. Like if I'm long biased and the market, the Dow is up, then, you know, I have maybe a potential to trade it pre-market. Just really depends on the market conditions. Otherwise, if it's choppy, low flow, I mean, no, you know, very low volume, I'm gonna stay away from it, because there's no liquidity. All right, but yeah, Twitter will be on my watch list. Now it's more expensive. You think, damn, you know, I don't have a big account. I only have, you know, $2,000, $3,000. Yo, even 100 shares, guys, can get you points on a stock like Twitter. Sometimes it'll, you know, pull back 1 or 2 points. I mean, obviously, you know, if you want to build your account, the fastest way to do it is to, you know, look for, you know, penny stocks between, like, you know, under like $5 or lower. But, you know, really at the end of the day, you just want to trade the quality setups and gain and have wins. That's really where you want to be. All right. So next up is PFE, 48 million shares traded yesterday, and this thing is gapped up. Pfizer, yeah, and I was looking at this. Pfizer hasn't been this high in like 10 years. So, you know, and it ripped. Look, even like, let's say you bought this 100 shares, you could have made $200 riding from 37 to 39, you know? So, you know, even if it's a smaller account, I mean, even if it's a higher price stock, there's range there. Don't listen to Tim Sykes. It tells you, oh, that you know, there's no range in higher price stocks. That's bullshit. That's his niche, and he wants you to buy his product. So that's why he's selling that strategy. It's his strategy. But that's not true. There's a lot of money in high price stocks, and there's actually less risk because you take less shares and you get more points. So what I would be looking to see now, what I expect this to do Monday is like people to take profit at the open, and probably this thing is gonna wash back to, like, you know, maybe like to that 38% retracement. I'm not sure. Maybe, you know, it's possible, maybe not so. But then if, you know, I don't know if what drove it, maybe it had good earnings or something, then, you know, I would like to see it break above the 39.09, hold it, and then go long. So what I'm gonna do is very simple. Put an alert, right, for 39.09 and say buy breakout if holds 39.09, or short the rejection. All right, so here we go. All right, so that's what I'll be looking. That's a clear entry, you know, because what happens is sometimes the stock will like tank, and, you know, you'll lose like 1 or 2 points, and then it starts running again, and then it breaks above the high, and then, you know, chasers, you know, buy, and then and then it pulls back and they panic sell. But then at some point it finds that 39.09 mark and holds, and then that's when you should get in and buy. It could go long. That's what I've learned, over my last year of trading. That's how you buy breakouts, and that's how you make money. So yeah, I'm putting it on this watch list because it's holding its highs. It's volatile. You look at the chart history too over the last year, 2 years, 5 years, depending, and see, all right, what did it do? So the last time it had like a really big day like this, the next day was red. Like, look, had a big green day, had a following red day. So you definitely, you want to see, look, big green day, next day it finished red. So based on chart history, more than likely this stock is going to pull back, maybe have a red day. We'll see. If you're looking for a potential short and you want to look at the chart, what you could do is, here's the clear support level, which is 38.71. So what I would be looking to do is, if it pulls back to that 38.71, if it breaks below it with strong volume, I short it. If it holds, then I buy the dip. So 38.71, we'll say potential short below, or buy the dip if holds support. And this is the blueprint to trading, guys. All those DVDs that you see, all that bullshit is bullshit. This is always based off of, trust me, all those guys, what I'm doing is more or less what they're doing too. It's not rocket science, guys. Nobody knows what a stock is going to do, so you just play really based off support and resistance levels. You don't need 10,000 indicators and all that stuff. I know when I did my initial video, I had like the MACD and the RSI and all that. You really don't need all that stuff, to be quite honest with you. They're helpful, and I leave it there because for a lot of people, they find value in it. But I'm learning as I become more sophisticated with trading that those things you don't really need. You just really need to look at level 2, meaning the buyers and sellers, the time and sales, and the volume, the price action. Next up is AMD. AMD is running again. AMD is one of these stocks that, what my advice is, they're good swings. So like the next time this thing panics and goes down, because it'll probably do that again at some point, and it goes back down to like $9, $10, buy it and hold, because it'll eventually go back up. AMD is a good company. They're a good company. They're gonna just keep going up and down, and it has this gap to fill. If you look at the yearly, let me clear this drawing. If you look at the yearly over here, right, it's at 1312. It continued to run pre-market, but you look, it has some resistance here at this 1313 level, which is ironic. If it breaks 1313, then it has a gap to fill all the way at a minimum of 1369. But the full gap, if it goes, would be at $14. So what I would be looking to do is to see, is it gonna break and hold 1312? Now what I think is gonna happen is pre-market, it'll start moving back, it'll break it, and if it holds it, this is a stock, if it has the volume, you can trade pre-market if it has the volume. So I would buy breakout at 1312 if holds as support. And what I would also do, right, if you do it, best practice would be, look at where the next gap fill is above that. And if you look at the yearly, it's right here. So the low here, which would be the 1380? Oh no, the low 1369 on this daily candle. So what I would do is I would create another alert to say potential rejection at 1369. So I would go to, if it breaks and holds and runs, 1369, potential resistance, DNITAL, resistance at 1369, and you could be a potential short. Now if it holds, if breaks and holds, strong buy confirmation. You see, guys, and that's all I'm doing is I'm looking at candles, the yearly, you're looking at the daily, support and resistance for potential entries, and that's the key. Is just to wait for those setups to present themselves. So now Siri has been on this upward trend, for the last 10 days, and it's all the way up to 628. It's been a long time since it's been this high. you know, it had this push. Like when you see this is a chat room pumping it. It's probably a chat room that was pumping it. And you know, and then the guru tells you to buy, everybody chases, he sells, you hold the bag, and then it crashes. And then, you know, guys who really understand trading, they oh, let me put AMD, I forgot to put that there. And guys that really understand trading, you know, they look for those opportunities to short those crazy quick spikes. You know, you guys like Warrior Trading, Tim Sykes does it too sometimes, believe it or not. You know, they'll have you buy these bullshit stocks, you know, they have no reason, no real catalyst, and they just drive the price of the stock up. And people know that it's bullshit, you know, and the sophisticated traders do, and they wait for the opportunity to shut the shit back down. But it's running again. It could potentially, because it's been on this bull run, it could be a potential short. I'm not gonna put it on my watch list, but you can look to see. PBR is the Brazilian stocks. Yeah, it's been running. This was on my watch list a couple of days ago. This is just continuing to move. It's up after hours at $14. So this is a clear support level a couple of days ago. That's why I had it there, and I would leave that there because it breaks below it. I mean, it has a gap to fill below. It could be a great short or potential dip buy if it holds. But what I want to see is, and you know, my assumption is that it's gonna wash when the market opens Monday, and it could be a potential short. And this is an easy to borrow stock. I would create an alert. You know, I would say, you know, buy breakout. It holds 14. But it could be a potential short too. Now, if you want, you can say, all right, well, what if it starts pulling back? What you want to look at is a clear support level below, which would be 1370. So I would then, at this point, I would put another alert to say 1370. I would say, you know, potential short or dip buy if holds support at 1370. And that's what I do, guys. You know, this is how I build my watch list. You know, now there's a million stocks. Now these are a little bit higher price, but you know, you can look at, you can filter by some of, you know, the cheaper stocks. You know, but you want stocks with volume. Like ATOS is a cheap stock, and this is a stock. Now this is an interesting stock. Let's look at the yearly. Let me clear the drawing set. So this stock is gapping up. I don't know what it's gapping up on. What kind of companies? It's a pharmaceutical company. All right, so maybe there was some study, and I don't know. But if you look at the yearly chart, right? All right, if you look at the daily, look what happened the last time it had a big day, like it did yesterday. It opened at 54 cents. It hit a high of 63.6 cents. It hit a low of 50 cents, and it closed at 62 cents, right? So it, you know, pretty much held its highs. The next day, it opened at 65 cents. It hit a high of 150. Hit a low of 649, and it closed at 122. So if history is repeating itself, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, because it did have a big day on January 17th, and then, you know, it didn't really do much the following day. It did, you know, go up, but it closed lower. You know, it's starting to get volume again. It got 17 million shares traded on this day. So, you know, maybe it rips Monday. So what we're gonna do is, but look, it's very important to understand that on the yearly chart, right, the 200 moving average is 45 cents. Is at 45. It's at 46, so it broke it. So that may be an indicator that this thing is gonna rip Monday. I don't know. We're gonna put it on a watch list. All right, we're gonna put it on our watch list, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, hey, you know, if it holds that 46 level, all right, it could be a potential buy. All right, but remember, you want to see a break above and then pull back and hold that 46, because it's probably the 50 cent level is a strong, it's a psychological resistance barrier, and it'll probably break above it and then crack below it, and then if it holds at 46, everybody's gonna run and buy it. And if it breaks above 50 at that second time, it's gonna run. That's my guess. Buy, breakout, if holds 46 cent. All right. Okay, so all right, so that's the alert. Now what you want to do is you're gonna say, all right, if it dips below it and it can't hold that, then it could be a good short. And shorting a stock like this is where you need a brokerage like Centerpoint, or sometimes, you know, interactive brokers may have shares. If you could get a hold of Trade Zero, but Trade Zero, you can't if you're an American, you can't open an account. So Centerpoint uses the same brokerage to find their shares to short as Trade Zero, which is Vision, and that's why Trade Zero is great if you're an international person. If you live outside of America, I would love to have Trade Zero if I could, but I can't because I'm an American. So but this is, you know, on watch. We'll see what happens Monday. I mean, I gave you a gem in POTN. Maybe this is another gem. So let's look at one. We'll add two more, and then I'll call it a day. BSPN. I saw this, man. I wish I could have shorted this. I saw it running, and I knew at that $6 mark it was donezo. And if you notice here, you know, these are Fibonacci's that I have automated, and I've talked about Fibonacci's in several videos. Lately, stocks are not like touching Fibonacci and running. Like last year, like between like June and like November, like every stock was like bouncing like crazy. You know, they were like washing and running, and you don't see that follow through these days. But you know, this would have been an amazing short. I wish I had the opportunity to short it. Now it looks like, you know, it had a lot of volume. And it looks like a lot of these short sellers didn't cover. So I'm going to put it on the watch list, even though this is a bullshit company. And I don't think, you know, but I'm going to put it on the watch list only because you may get a squeeze at the market open come Monday. Now, I don't know if that's going to take place, but because, you know, you have this trend. So if you notice, it's in this trend, right? And you could, this is another strategy that, you know, if you see it start gapping, breaking above the 250, because you may get an artificial spike because of the trend. Now what you want to do is look at the yearly. You're going to say, okay, the last time it did this, you know, if you look at the stock, you know, it had this first green day, and then it had this crazy rip, but it gave it all back. Let's say, does it have a habit of doing that? So no, not really. So at least on the 1 year, I mean, I can look further back, but I'm not going to. But I'm going to put it on the watch list just in case, you know, maybe it has a second run. I mean, I wouldn't put a lot of cadence in this, you know, but you can just keep your eye on it. Maybe, and it'd be good if it spikes, you can short it. All right, so let me look at one or two more. VIPS has just been running crazy. I'll look for something a little bit cheaper just for you guys. MYSZ, I had this on my watch list, and there was, and if you look at, let me pull the 2-day. Excuse me. So I had this stock. Let me zoom back. I had it on watch at 265. So to buy the breakout at or above 265. And what happened was it hit that 265, and look what happened. This is why I tell you, you never buy the breakout. So if you watch my video, I had put this, right? I said, you know, potential buy at the break above 265. Now this is a perfect example of why you don't buy the breakout. So, right, that's the previous day's high. That's Thursday's high, right? Market opens, and, you know, it's running, and it touches that 265. But look what happens. It goes above it for a second, and then it completely tanks. So this would have been your entry to short. That's why I say you look at those highs, because if they, you know, you buy the breakout if it holds, but if it rejects it, then they're great shorting opportunities, risking that high. And if you noticed, it got to 265 and just completely washed. It retraced 61%, believe it or not, and then went on a run. So this was where Fibonacci really played well. And it was, look at this, the 200 moving average was right there, right at that 61 level. And this is a 15-minute time frame. You can see it a little there. It's you know, what you want to do is with less volume stocks, you want to use higher time frames to give you a better indicator of what the move is going to be. Now, because I see, you know, the problem with this stock is that it's really choppy, so it's hard to like, kind of trade it, but it continues to gap up. So because of that, this stock has gotten to a high of 358. We're gonna put it on the watch list for Monday because, you know, even though it's been choppy, it keeps you know, moving along. It's gotten up to that 3+ level. So what I want to see is, I want to see it break and hold that 275 mark. All right, so I'm gonna create an alert. We're gonna see, you know, buy breakout. If holds above, if holds 275, that's support. Or you short the rejection, okay? Or you short it. Now the problem with a stock like this is hard to borrow. So if you don't have the, you know, one of those stocks, maybe E-Trade. Sometimes E-Trade's pretty good too. I have E-Trade, But if you can't find the shares, you know that you know you're just looking along these stocks. All right. So you know it's you know it had that day where it went crazy. It opened at 250, it high 358, low of 235, it closed at 286. So you know you know there's an opportunity. Maybe that'll happen. So these are the stocks that I'm gonna you know put on my watch list. Now you would keep looking, and you know you can you know these stocks that you see are holding their highs. They're very volatile, and those are great opportunities to long and short. You can just go through and find stocks that you know kind of you know work for you. You know there's so many here. I mean I can go on and on and on just doing this, and you know but you know because you can't watch them all. You know you just want to pick you know a couple and just you know and then just you know make trades or watch those. It's always good to have a plan, you know, because without the plan you're just kind of trading blind. So you know I'm just looking through tickers. There's a lot of opportunity in a lot of these tickers. All right, so I hope you have a great weekend. Like, subscribe, and retweet you know my watch list, my videos, share them with people. I think you know you could save yourself a lot of money just watching the videos and getting an understanding of how these stocks work. All right, so have a great weekend, guys, and leave me comments. Let me know what you think. We can chat it up.